Good afternoon, students. In today's class, we shall discuss pronoun case agreement. Pronoun case agreement. Now, before we go into looking at the topic for today, let's understand a few foundational truths with respect to cases of pronouns. Now, there are quite a number of cases of pronouns as far as the English language grammar is concerned. However, we need only two of these cases in the discourse of pronoun case agreement. Now, these two cases we're talking about are the subject case and the object case. The first foundational truth is this. When we tag a case of a pronoun subject, it means that that case of pronoun, one, performs the action, two, is the particular thing or person we are talking about. Three, it is placed almost always before the main verb. That's for the subject case of pronouns. Now, the next case talks about the object case. Now, the object case also, one, is placed after the main verb. Two, it receives the action performed by the subject in the sentence. Now, note something very quickly. Not all pronoun cases that appear after verbs will be referred to as objects. I'll explain. Take, for example, this sentence. Another one. Now, in these two sentences, we have he hugged her, and we have Hilda spoke to him. Now, the underlined word her is a pronoun. It is an object case pronoun. Why? It's simple. Look at the verb immediately before it, and that's hugged. Now, the verb hugged is a lexical verb, or you want to call it a main verb. Now, any word talking about the pronoun, in this case, that appears immediately after a main verb, that word becomes an object. Why? Because it is meant to receive the action in that verb. Now, for the second one, spoke to. Who did Hilda speak to? Him. So him here also receives the action of speaking. Therefore, it is also an object case pronoun. So the bottom line is this. When we talk about pronoun case agreement, we talk about the application of same pronoun cases in sentences. Now, when we say same pronoun cases, it could be two subject cases or it could be two object cases. Now, look at these permutations very quickly. Now, if I have a subject case plus another subject case, I get a plural subject. If I have an object case plus another object case, I get a plural object. Now, the question is this. How then can I identify the subject case pronouns and the object case pronouns? Now, let's take a look at this double column table. Let's use here. Now, I'll have two different columns with different tag names. The first one, I'll call that subject case. All right. The second one, I'll call that object case. Okay. All right. Now, let's begin like this. I have I as the subject case. The corresponding object case of I is what? Me. I move to the next one, and that's he. the corresponding object case of he is what? Him. Okay? Then the third one, I have she. The corresponding to she is what? Her. All right? Then, of course, I have we. The corresponding of these is us. Then the next one I have they. Now, this corresponds as them. Okay? Then I have you. It remains as you. It remains as it. All right. So, subject case I, object case me, subject he, object him, subject she, object her, subject we, object us, subject they, object them. Then you and it retain their forms, whether as subject cases or as object cases. So these are the two pronoun cases we shall work with respect to pronoun case agreement. Now, let's see a few extensions very quickly. Let's start with personal pronoun I. Now, the personal pronoun I will always function as a singular pronoun. Now, despite that, it is grammatically allowed to admit a plural verb in sentences. The only singular verbs that the personal pronoun I can admit are when we talk about am, okay, in the present tense, was, in the past tense. So you can say something like this: I am here, correct. You can also say, I was there, correct. Now, you can't possibly say, I has come. Why? Because speaking grammatically, the personal pronoun I is not permitted to admit this singular verb in this format. The only singular verb could be am in the present or was in the past. So you can use I has come. This is, of course, ungrammatical. Now we can say I have come. This is fine. Why? Because speaking grammatically, I should admit plural verbs in sentences. All right? That's for I. Then we'll move to the next one, you. Now, you is a unique pronoun in the sense that whether it functions as singular or as plural, it remains as you. I could use you to refer to a singular subject. I could use the same you to refer to a plural subject. So whether it's a singular pronoun or subject or a plural pronoun or subject, it remains as you. Now note this very quickly. Whenever you is used in sentences, it must always admit the plural verb. So you can't afford to say something like this. So we can't say you is here. This is grammatically wrong. But we can say you are here. And that's correct. We can as well say you have arrived. But we can say We can say this. You has arrived. Wrong. You have arrived. Correct. You are here. Correct. You is here. Wrong. So is an SV. That's singular verb. Are is PV, plural verb. Have, PV, plural verb. Has, SV, singular verb. You come here every day. Correct. Not you comes here every day. Now let me chip this in very quickly before we move ahead. I've come to realize that very many students, even users of the English language, erroneously use verbs with S as plural and verbs without S as singular. Now note this. Whenever a verb word has any of these plural markers after it, S, ES, or IES, that verb will be referred to as a singular verb. You have words like arrives, comes, goes, writes, speaks, sleeps, eats, punches, needs, deserves. All of these verbs have either S or ES or IES after them. So they are singular verbs. Now, take off all of those plural markers. Take off IES from cries, it becomes cry. Take off ES from boxes as a verb, it becomes box. Take off ES from punches as a verb, it becomes punch. All right, take off S from need, it becomes need. All of these are plural verbs. So the bottom line is this. The moment you remember that a plural noun takes S, ES, IES after it, reverse that knowledge. It will give you for what now? The verb counterpart. So while a plural noun takes S, a plural verb does not take S. While a singular noun does not take S, a plural what now? Verb will not take S. So note it. Once again, comes, singular. Come, plural. They come here every day, plural. He comes here every evening, singular. I trust that's clear enough. All right, so let's move to the business of the day. Now, it's very important that we understand all of these foundational truths. So, now when we talk about pronoun case agreement, we shall look into those using some examples for clarity purpose. Look at these very quickly. Let's refer to them as applications. Number one, I have. Okay. Now we have. The teacher invited Emmanuel and I/me to his house. Now we have a challenge here. Now what's the challenge? Are we expected to use Emmanuel and I, or are we to use Emmanuel and me? It's simple. Don't forget, I is subject case. It performs an action. It does something. It is placed right before the verb in every sentence. Me is an object case. It receives an action. It is placed right after the main verb in a sentence. Now let's see how we can go. Let's detach into two. Let's start with these two, then with the next two. Now, if I have Emmanuel, let's analyze now. Emmanuel plus I, it gives us we. The next one, Emmanuel plus me, it gives us. Now, substitute Emmanuel and I for we. Substitute Emmanuel and me for us. Then read the sentence. What do you have? You now have this. The teacher invited we to his house. We keep that. The teacher invited us to his house. Obviously, the correct one here is us. Why? Remember we said, we is a subject case pronoun. It is meant to be positioned before the verb, not after. Us is an object case pronoun, which should be positioned after the verb, not before, to receive an action. So having said that, we can say that the teacher invited Emmanuel and me to his house. That's the first proof. Let's look at the second proof to be sure we are on track. I could decide to still break the sentence into two. In fact, three, as I wish. The first one, the teacher invited Emmanuel. That's one. The second one, the teacher invited I. Does that make sense? It doesn't make sense. The teacher invited me. Invited Emmanuel, acceptable, grammatical. Invited I, wrong. Why? Because I is a subject case pronoun which should not find its place after the verb. It should be before the verb. Me, correct. Why? Because it is an object case pronoun which should be placed after the verb to receive the action of what? Invitation. Therefore, we say, the teacher invited Emmanuel and me to his house. And that's correct. Let's see one more. Look at this. Now we have the next one says, Bimbo and he/him wrote the notes. Bimbo and he/him wrote the notes. The same thing, let's analyze as we did the first one. Let's see. Let's bring Bimbo and he. We extract it. Then Bimbo and him, we also extract that. Let's see. So we can have, okay, I'll call this number 2. Good. Now, Bimbo plus he. The next one, Bimbo plus him. So Bimbo plus he gives us a plural subject. Bimbo plus he, they. Bimbo plus him gives them. Don't forget, this is what now? Subject case, object case. All right. Now, look at this. The same thing we did here, we'll do here. Substitute Bimbo and he for they. What do we have? We have they wrote the notes. Is that correct? Yes. Now substitute Bimbo and him for them. What do we have? We have them wrote the notes. Is that correct? No. Now coming back to the sentence, we can have Bimbo and he wrote the notes. Why? He is a subject pronoun which should be positioned before the verb, not after. Him is an object pronoun which cannot be positioned before the verb, but after. Proof number 2. Let's break the sentence. We can have Bimbo wrote the note. That's correct. We can have he wrote the note. That's also correct, but we cannot have him wrote the note. That's wrong. Therefore, Bimbo and he wrote the notes. Correct. I trust this is clear enough. Let's see yet another one, still for the purpose of clarity. Now we can have this. Let's label as 3. Yeah, 3. Now we have Sheila spoke with Ola and her / she. Now the task we have here is this. Are we to say that Sheila spoke with Ola and her is correct? Or we say Sheila spoke with Ola and she is correct? Let's see. As usual, we do our regular extraction. Now look at it. We have Ola plus her. Don't forget, her is an object case. Then Ola plus she. She is a subject case. So Ola plus her will give us what now? Now, the speaker here is not involved. Now, because the speaker is not involved, we cannot have a case of we cannot have a case of us. We either have a case of them or we have a case of they. So if we say Sheila spoke with Ola and her, or Sheila spoke with Ola and she, it could either be them or they. Do you get the point? Now let's move on. Now, this is an object case, so it will give us them. All right? She is a subject case. It will give us what now? They. As usual, let's substitute now. In place of Ola and her, put them. In the place of Ola and she, put they. Then we'll read. Now look up. Sheila spoke with them. That makes sense. Why? Because them is an object case and it has been rightly placed in its position, which is what? After the verb, to receive the act of what? Speaking. Therefore, we say she. Wrong. Let's see the next one. Ola and she gives us what? They. So we have Sheila spoke with they. It doesn't make sense, grammatically speaking. Why? Because they is a subject case pronoun which should not be placed after the verb. Are we still here? Let's move on. Usually again, let's do the second proof. Now, what's the second proof? Look at it. Let's break the sentence. We can say Sheila spoke with Ola. That's correct. We can say Sheila spoke with her. That's correct. But we cannot say Sheila spoke with she. That will be incorrect. Therefore, Sheila spoke with Ola and her. Correct sentence. Is that clear? Let's see just a few more, maybe one or two more. Now we number tag these as number 4. And look at this. Now we have, we are better than them / they. Now, you would agree with me that most users would say we are better than them. we are better than them. You know, it sounds correct. It sounds sweet, so to speak. But talking from the point of view of grammar, we cannot say we are better than them. But we can say we are better than they. Let's prove that. Let's go. First of all, we need to detach the sentence. We need to break it down, all right, into very simple forms. This kind of complex, let's break it down into very simple forms for better clarity. Now look up. Look at the word better. Better is a degree of adjective. I'm sure we still remember the 3 degrees of adjectives: the positive, the comparative, and of course